Manera, it's me, AB, and you found my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about 3 things you need to think about before going to law school. Part-time, not full-time, part-time. My name is AB, I am a 3rd-year law student, and this channel is dedicated to part-time students and what that lifestyle looks like. Join me as we talk about the law school experience, but also I'm going to teach you guys how to save some time. Because one thing about being a part-time law student, you become a little bit creative with the way that you use your time. Without further ado, let's jump into it. So what's the first thing you need to consider if you are thinking about going to law school part-time? First thing you need to think about is cost, right? Law school is expensive. I mean, you can go to US News and you can see, the top rated law school. You can look at like Ivy Leagues, you can look at the different costs, the different benefits. There are so many things to think about before you jump into this journey, right? And cost is a big part of it. It's not only your tuition, it's technology, it is living expenses. But I wanted to share a quick story time for the goose. You also need to plan for the goof expenses, and I'll show you a prime example of that. Second year, you do write you have a 3rd writing class called I think it's writing 3, and it's like legal research and writing. And in this 3rd writing course, you are charged with putting together an appellate brief. It's a pretty lengthy document. It's based off of a fact pattern, and basically at the end of the class, you would have to argue your stance on your legal position and defend your work in front of other classmates, other professors, and legal professionals. High pressure, right? At the time, I thought it was like such a big deal. But one thing that I will tell you is that you would have to pay for printing expenses. So I spent so much time on this. I worked really hard on this. I wrote so many different drafts on this, so many different versions. And then just when I thought I was ready, I sent it off to Staples to get printed. But let me tell you something. This should not be here. So I did that wrong, right? And I didn't find out until the day it was due. So I had to haul ass to Staples and get it reprinted and pay for it again. So then I got this binding, and guess what? It was still wrong. So I'm like literally about to hand this in, ripping out the piece that I did wrong and handing it in and arguing and trying to maintain poise and elegance at the same time, which was not an easy thing. So I just wanted to kind of share that story, as sometimes things come up. Sometimes the unexpected expenses that you weren't planning for will definitely pop up. So cost is huge, definitely something you should think about. What's the second thing you should think about? It is lifestyle. Your lifestyle does change. And for me, I'm a social butterfly, so that was one of the hardest parts. But whether it was spending time with friends, whether it was dating, it gets better towards the end, last year is a little bit easier, right? But I've seen people maintain marriages. I've seen people get engaged in law school, and their partners are in different areas and industries. So it is possible, but I think the hardest part was family. My family got used to it, especially being this far in. But when I would spend time with my family, it was always quick. Like I would pop in and be like, "Oh my God, happy birthday! It's so good to see you. I gotta go study. Bye." They got used to that. They definitely got used to it. And I think it is a small sacrifice for something larger and something that will pay off and is rewarding. So that is a challenge that most people find, and my peers and friends that are in a similar boat, they all tell me the same thing. Or maybe you're a parent and you gotta pay special attention to your kids, depending on where they are and where you are in your scope of parenting. So that's something else to think about as well. What's the 3rd thing to think about? Flexibility. Emphasis on flexibility, like yoga grade flexibility. The reason why I say flexibility is important is because we can all plan our days, our weeks, our months, our quarters, our years, right? We'll all have milestones and things that we want to accomplish. However, sometimes your plan doesn't happen the way you want it to. And what I mean specifically is, let's say you plan your day and you want to accomplish 3 things. You're like, I'm not ending my day without these 3 things being done. Sometimes if you chunk things down like that, it's totally achievable. But I think what we've all learned over time is Sometimes you got to be flexible with your day. Sometimes there's going to be a monkey wrench thrown in there, and it's all about how you are going to be prepared to handle that monkey wrench. Sometimes, like given that example for the appellate brief, I had to move 2 or 3 things around so that way I can haul ass to Staples and reprint, right? So just keep that in mind and be super patient with yourself, but also just know like it's going to take a great deal of flexibility, and we can all do it, but embrace that. Like, it's not a bad thing being flexible. It actually prepares you with the life skills that you'll need later on in life when it comes to flexibility. So third thing to think about. Here's a bonus, and this is like one of my favorite things. You have to become a time bandit. Right? And what does that mean? What is a time bandit? Well, it comes from a concept from one of my favorite books. I read this book before I decided to go to law school, and it's called 1L of a Ride. This book is written by a law school professor, Andrew McClurrick. He's worked with many law school professors to put together this work. 1L is basically your first year in law school. I read this because he basically gave you the roadmap of what the first year is like, what to expect, how to do the day-to-day things, how to case brief, how to study effectively, how to put together an outline, how to use IRAC, all of those things that seem like a foreign language, because those of you that are not in the legal space are probably like, what do all of those words mean? This book kind of broke that down for me and gave me at least a roadmap before we got started. But specifically, I'd like to focus on part-time students, and he did a nice chapter 22. Look at how thin it is though. Look at how thin it is. So this chapter is on night and other non-traditional students. And one of the concepts that he had on here was just talking about how professors have so much respect for people that go part-time and at night, because you have to balance your family, you have to balance working, you have to balance your study time, because it's much more limited than a full-time student. A full-time student has time to do whatever they want to throughout the day. A part-time student has limited time. So he came up with a concept called time bandits, meaning that you have to be super strategic with the way that you use your time. Examples for me is sometimes I'm folding laundry and listening to lectures. Sometimes I am, stuck in traffic on my way to school, and I will play back a recording of the previous class, so that way I'm super connected to the material and kind of understanding things a little bit better. Sometimes I'll record myself with some of the key terms, and if I'm cleaning the house or if I'm doing yard work, I'm playing that back, so that way I'm super connected with the material. So all of these things kind of add up into being an effective time bandit, and that's going to lead me to the last thing I want to talk to you guys about. This channel is not just about the law school experience, right? If you want to learn how to effectively manage your time, be super organized, and just learn about different facets of time management in many different areas of life, I'm going to encourage you to subscribe, because I'm starting a new series called Time Savers. And what's Time Savers about? It's exactly that. It's saving time with cooking. It's saving time with meal prep. It's saving time in so many different facets of life, because one thing that I've learned from this part-time law school experience is how to be creative with that. And I want to share that with the world. So if you are interested in Time Savers, if you're interested in my law school journey, I'm going to encourage you to subscribe, like, comment, share. There is so much more to come. This is my first video on YouTube. I really can't believe I'm here. Oh my God, it's insane. Like, I'm such a private person online too. But hey, sometimes you gotta take risks in life. Be brave with your life. I'm really excited that you guys are here. I am looking forward to sharing with all of you, and I will see you soon.